Hey everybody, Craig, Miles, Clipper. Alrighty, so we've got a 1708. We still get them a fair bit. I expect we'll get them for another couple of years. This one's got no boot situation, but we are getting some voltage on the boot. It's not just a 5 volt sort of situation. However, I suspect we probably have maybe a PP bus fault. I'm just taking the battery off, plug it in, see what we get on the USB. Where did my little meter thingy go? Okay, so yeah, we've got 20 volts, 7-8 milliamps. So that's pretty much a hard short. So I'm just going to take this board out. It could be something on the top here, but I'm not going to be able to pick it up because 5-6 milliamps, even at 20 volts, we're just not going to feel that. We might, if we're lucky and we have a nice dark, cool room, we could spot something coming up on the ultra infrared, but it's just going to be easy. I suspect this may be a visually locatable fault. Is it like that? What? Let's see. Reverb. There we go now. Yeah, hopefully that blew your butts off. I'm going to blame Lewis Rossman on that one. I was busy trying to sort out some stuff today, and I had to mess around with my various audio configurations, and I didn't set them back. I'm also going to blame my capture card, the previous Asia Coney 4, because it crapped its bed again today, so that's what I took it out, sent a email to the support for them, said look, we're sick of this card, send us a new one, do something, I don't know, but it's no good. It just keeps if you can't trust a card to can't trust a device to actually reasonably do what you're expecting, then what are you going to do? Got to get rid of it. But I had a look at it today after I took it out, and it looks like it's actually been reworked. So I don't know whether it's my original one and they reworked it, or whether it's some other one that they had and they reworked and sent to me. But the quality of the rework is pretty dodgy. To be fair though, they are reworking 128 pin TQFN, TQFP? Yeah, TQFP. And so that's not a very nice package to rework. They don't like to self-center, and they're just gnarly. Believe me, if you gave me a choice between a TQFP, TQ whatever, of that size versus say an SMC BGA, I would take the SMC. I'll take the BGA every time. Okay, we have got a broken off tag retaining side on the power brick there, but we have got completely jacked up. Damn it, I hope this is not a case of having to replace those USB-C ports, because that sucks. Yeah, it's possibly a refurb. Anyway, so I don't know whether it's a design flaw or something like that. But the best thing is you can't even get the chips new anymore. So the actual chip that they reworked, you can't get them anymore. I think There's a small handful of them at Mouser, and that's about it. Hey, Jürgen, Nick, Lewis, Akkus. Yes, I'll be blaming a different Lewis. Right. Yeah, I'm just trying to see if we've got a PP bus short here. 9 on that side. Yeah, we've got a PP bus short, as guessed. Yeah, when you get like low couple of milliamps at 20 volts, that means then your USB-C input's okay, but then the rest of the circuitry is screwed up. Hello there, BNI Pro Services. So what we're going to look for, well, this thing's been baked pretty good. We're going to look for a cap that's crapped the bed, and look, to be honest, that really needs replacing too. Because even if they are not yet causing a problem, they will soon enough. Yeah, this thing looks like it's been baked in an oven or something. Beyond just the basic reflow itself. On these boards, the 840 and 875s, these are often the big culprits. These caps here. But not always. Sometimes it can be a really itty bitty little lump. But geez, where'd this colouring come from? Honestly, it is like someone, and even like the inductors, they look like they've been cooked. And yeah, see, someone's bent that off a bit. I don't know what's going on there. Man, I don't know if this has been cooked or someone's just tried to wash the board. All I know is it's not very healthy looking. Worst case scenario, I'll just put some voltage onto PP bus. Kind of try to avoid taking that option, even though it is probably the smartest option. Yeah, at this point it could be anything. Like, you know, on some iPhones, they can have that rainbow hue effect. This is sort of like this, but this is more like a I have been cooked to death effect. It's just weird. I can't see anything looking dramatically exploded. I'll just check on other things. Yeah, it does look like someone left it in the pizza oven or something like that. Dum, dum, dum. Okay, so we got for an 840. Even though it doesn't look like there are a lot of parts on PP bus there really are, because, well, I guess almost everything's connected to PP bus. But in terms of directly, the reason why it doesn't look like that is because, unfortunately, board views and schematics, well, the board view in particular, when I tell it to show me all the things with PP bus, it's only going to go and show me PP bus, but there are a lot of aliased rails, or rails that is connected to, you know, through a 0 ohm resistor or something like that. It could be anything from a speaker amp at fault to who knows what. Like all of these resistor here, see, it goes PP bus comes in and out there, and then you've got this HS computing, which, you know, takes up all the other. It's just like a little bridge, and it changes the name of the street that it's on. Anyway. Hey creature, yes, I'm at it again. Unlike some of us, I've got to actually work for a living. Alright, we're just gonna do the switch over the microscope. Yep, we're just gonna do the injection. I really hate doing the injection, but we've got to do the injection because the injection is the fastest way to make money. Second fastest, I should say. The fastest would be for me to just see the fault, and maybe I can actually already see it. Is that a cracked cap? No, it's just reflections. Oh well. We'll put the wires on here, send 60 volts through it, and see what happens. Yeah, everything, like I said, looks really like it's been left in the oven for too long. It's quite impressive. Creature, I'm actually going to ban you from thermal camera time. You like it too much, so I don't think we should allow you to have access to it anymore. Okay. Now, hopefully the short isn't actually so shorted that the injection test is going to fail on us. That's always a hell of a lot of fun when that happens. And by fail I mean, well, obviously you inject the power in there, but it's the wires delivering the power to the board that end up getting hot and not the actual short on the board. There are ways you can combat that. The easiest and simplest is you just use very short wires that are quite thick, and then hopefully you will be reasonably close to the actual short. Where are my damn wires? Normally I have a little container. I've got the wire container, but these two will do. Let's see, you're an inspiration for me to diagnose my M1 MacBook Air. Repair shop has asked me for 420 US price regardless of the nature. That's a little steep for regardless of the nature. Is that a fixed, like, 420 if it's fixed, as opposed to 420 no matter if it's fixed or not? Because if it's 420 if it's fixed, that's fair enough. I get that. Although I really should start charging that sort of price myself. But if it's 420 no matter what, then yeah, that's probably not nice. Hey Prater. Okay, we're just adding a bit of solder on here because it makes it easier for me to put the wire on. It's not a very good join, but don't worry about that. Doesn't yet have to be perfect. As long as they're not touching, that's good. So I might, since we're doing an injection, I'll take the drive out. I should have done that originally, to be honest. So that's a bit of an oversight by me. The reason why I generally dislike taking these out is because you've got to peel this adhesive off, and it never goes back on. Maybe there is a way to reactivate the adhesive on these things, but I don't know what it is. So if anyone does know how to reactivate that adhesive, let me know. This one's actually been exceptionally difficult. There we go. It's like a strange metallic fiber matrix with something in it. 1518. We need to write that down so that we don't have an accidental loss. Now before we even connect anything up, we're going to change the power supply. You got to do these things to make sure you don't do stupid stuff sooner than you anticipate. So we're going to go 1 volt, 2 amps. That'll be ample. I know, that wasn't very punny of me. Which, yes, I have tried reheating the adhesive, and it does work to a degree, but not always. Okay, make sure we get our polarities right. Yeah. Now before I bring the thermal camera up, I'm just going to actually see if it even does register. It should do. It doesn't feel like this is a active short. You son of a bitch. Alright. It's an active short. Crap. Either that or the shorted part was that cap and we've just fixed it inadvertently. Yeah, we do not have a short anymore. Now you all saw it. You all saw when I measured that cap in both directions, it was 0-ish, and it did not stop or raise or reduce. Damn it. Well, that's fun. Hey, Dadumras. Kenny Whidden, I did indeed. I did indeed. Now this cap does have, it is a fairly common one to have a fault on it. So we'll take it off and have a look at it visually, see if we can see anything that shows up. Some sort of hairline crack or something. Hey there, Horst. What is that junk on my tip? That's better. Now the trouble here is that we've got, obviously this plastic connector that loves to melt, and we've got this plastic connector that loves to melt. So we're going to try and not be Mr. Melty. Not too much anyway. Yeah, Mr. Melty's coming along. I'm watching that corner there. Yeah. Come on, you get in there, you're almost there, you go. Well, I can't really see anything specifically wrong with this capacitor. It may be that we do have an active short. And as far as the meter is concerned, that's open. Yeah, I know the connector could do with an air shield, but let's be real, it's not going to happen, okay? On the other hand, if you just simply are careful about what you're doing, instead of relying on the shield, then you don't need the shield, just as we showed. If you want to be a little more cavalier, then sure, put a shield on it. But it can be done without a shield. Yeah, I'm going to clean up these a little bit. Okay, that one there is not too bad, but unfortunately, because this is a paired connector, even if one of them's okay, but the other one's dodgy, well, then they've both got to go. But let's see if we can actually... They might be they might be okay. Well, B-Blood, we did just put power across the capacitor, that's the thing. You know, that's what we just did. When we were doing the short test, and nothing happened. Now, of course, if I keep putting the voltage up, then yeah, certainly at some point I'm going to reach the breakdown voltage of the cap, and things will get exciting. Okay, unfortunately we do have a burn through. At least I'm pretty sure we're getting close to a burn through on that. Well, not burn through, but or maybe it's just rust. Oh no, that's some interesting copper there. I wonder if it came off one of their connectors. I gotta tell you, I'm really not in the mood to replace this, and the reason being is that often when you replace this connector, you end up having to also replace the camera chip, because they're in sufficiently close proximity, and the camera chip on these machines is rather sensitive thermally. And of course it's underfilled. So it's actually a twofer. Most times it will fail before the solder squeezes out. So, and as you can see, it's underfilled there. So what will happen is you may have a mishap or something like that. Yeah, it takes a little bit longer than you want, and that gets upset. So it won't spit solder out the sides, but internally it will be damaged. No, I agree with you, Prater. I just want to first see if this even goes anywhere. Yeah, it's booting. I can only guess that that cap was in some way faulty, and we resolved it. I do not like faults like this though. I really do not like these kind of faults because they almost always come back. You think that you've fixed it, and then you put it aside for a couple of days, and then you go to pack it up and you do your packing test, as you go to pack the machine to ship it off, you open up the lid and you just check that it boots and everything, and that is exactly when it will go, I don't want to work anymore. Yeah, it's the way it goes. So it looks like we're obligated in this situation to have to replace that freaking connector. Son of a bitch. I've got to find one that actually isn't completely wrecked. I'd be very surprised if I blew a bridge. Well, that's completely trucked, that one. Yeah, I'd be very surprised if I blew a bridge with 1 volt, 1 amp. If it was going to blow, it would have blown well before then. Yeah, I actually legitimately do have an issue here. I'm almost... Geez, I hope I got some others. This is going to be the piece of crap one that... Yeah, that's a piece of crap. Well, folks, it would appear Mr. Daniels is well short of a couple of 1708 USB pins. Yeah, that's not good. I do seem to recall I had a couple of boards around. Let's just see if I do have one or two. Why is there an empty box taking up my shelf space? Stupid, stupid empty box. Okay, what else? Ah. Okay, what is this? Well, it's not the greatest looking, but it does at least look like it's okay. Alright, we're gonna have to take it off this one then. Fun and games. Patrick, thanks for the 5. More coffee. Speaking of which, I actually ran out of the normal bricks that I get today, so it's going to be fun. I had an arrangement that worked before. That's it. Alright, looks like Mr. Arrangement's being a little bit difficult right now. There we go. Okay. I'm really disinclined to have to buy more of these connectors though. They charge a very high price for what they are. I suppose they're sort of thinking, well, where else are you going to get them? If I wanted to, I could maybe get it removed simply by, without having to take this Thunderbolt shield off. But Thunderbolt shield's taking a little longer to get off than normal. Am I running at the right temperature? Yeah, I am. There we go. And this is how we get to the situation where that camera chip gets cooked. No, actually this is taking too long. This should have been off well and truly by now. What the hell is going on there? Yeah, try and not melt the little keying studs in there. Might just drop the temperature down to a bit of a less one, and it's just going to take longer, but it'll be okay. Doesn't hurt to have a little bit of patience now and then. Sort of Captain tape over the camera chip won't help it at all because the heat is actually coming through the circuit board. If I was going to shield it for anything, I would I'd probably put a thermal mass on it so that it keeps the overall area cooler. Basically the problem is that you've got to heat soak this so much that it's hard not to have it going all the way over to the other chip. Yeah, I think I'm going to need a bit more heat. We're not really getting any penetration here. $470, we'll try that. There we go, now we're getting some activity. A little bit of cleanup's going to be required just there. Hey Derek-chan. The trouble with low melt solder in these sort of scenarios is that it doesn't really help because it's got to get down deep into the holes anyway, and the only way that's going to happen is if it's hot enough already to get down there. It's just a case of patience. Most of the delay here is waiting for that circuit board to come up to temperature. Because after all, when you think about them, these things go through a reflow oven. That oven doesn't get above, I think, what, 260, 270? Maybe even just 245. But it's in there for a good, 3-4 minutes. Okay, it's looking tolerable. So we have our spare part now. Now we have to work on the original. Now, don't actually ever put this shield back on. It's a bit naughty of me. Paul S would probably yell at me. But, yeah. The trouble with low melt, if you leave it on things, it ruins the strength of the connections, the quality of the connections. It's fine if you're just purely doing it to mechanically remove something, but in terms of electrical stability and stuff like that, it will pose problems. Anyway, we'll get the shield off first. We shouldn't have to worry about the camera at this point. Mother trucker. Yeah. Am I night for this? Don't yank on it too hard, or she'll end up pulling up the copper rather than the actual shield from the connections. No, unfortunately I can't remove the chip too easily, but basically it's sort of a self-defeat if I remove that chip first. Now I just need to get a thermal mass to put on that. Doo-be-doo-doo-be-doo-be-doo. Now, where did I put my thermal masses? I'm gonna stick my finger on it. Someone sent me a bag of thermal masses. What have I done with them? Oh wait, these are shields. Oh well. Yeah, my PayPal's fine. They were in the empty box. Funny stuff. Okay, this is not really a thermal mass. This is definitely strictly a shield. So I guess we're going to go low and slow. Yeah, $2 coin works. Let's hope the camera works after this, otherwise I will suffer emotional damage. Hey, Miss Sarah. Sorry, Mercia. I don't know why I keep saying yeah, I just pronounced your name wrong and I do apologise for that. You have to forgive me. I mean, geez, look how long it took me to be able to say Dadamraz properly. What I'm going to do is focus on this end and try and get it to start coming out. Fortunately, the Thunderbolt chip is not underfilled, so appreciate that. Yeah, Miles, those stick-on ones are kind of handy for this sort of situation. So I'm not going to go down too far towards the camera chip. I figure by the time I get this running and then I do get to over here, yeah, okay, it's starting to do the melt up here. I have about a 75% success rate. That is without having to change the camera chip. Might be worth me jumping the temperature up around about now. Yeah, we just started to get a little itty bitty, not much, but it was just like borderline on there. Now we've got the next fun part, and that is actually clearing those holes. You can see why I do not like doing this job. Now, of course, if you're really good, what you could actually do is you leave these filled as they are, you place the new connector on and let it just fall down. That would be the smart way to do it. In fact, I'm kind of considering it. I might just lead them up. They'll go through quicker, because that's a lot of holes to clear. Then again, it's stupid of me. No, we're going to do it manually. Here we go. Hey, Charles. And before you ask, no, you can't really use a solder sucker. Not a reasonable solder sucker for these. This is so gonna suck. Alright, top it up with some leaded just to get us started. Now, of course, this leaded solder is not really penetrating that deep at all. What's this? Oh, well, thank you very much to Creature. He just sent through 50 Australian bucks. 50 Australian bucks, that's going to be like 2 bricks of coffee for me. I'm rich. Thank you, Creature. You didn't have to do that. Jeez, I've known you for long enough that you don't have to do that. Biothermal mass. I'll buy, with $50 I'll be able to buy, well, 25 of them. It's not that I don't have them, it's that I'm too lazy to get them. Big difference. You can tell when you've got most of it because you'll get that sudden pop. I gotta say, this is probably one of the least successful extractions. Like, often when I extract this connector, you get around about 50% success of the holes clearing. This one was like 100% no success. So I'm gonna have to... I think half the problem is that the board's gotten a bit cold. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to change my strategy, keep a bit of warmth in it. Creature they do, but I don't like them. Oh, actually no, they don't. No, I'd have to get the FM203 station, and I was at one point considering getting the FM203, and I explicitly decided against that. So no, do not send me frickin' tweezer, frickin' soldering tips. Not unless you want to be sorely disappointed when I never use them. And if I do use them, I bitch and complain about how I don't want to use them, and I'm only doing it because someone got upset. Nah, fuck it. I'm gonna have to do my other strategy. Now, where the hell's my camera chip? Okay, camera chip's to the right. Cool. Okay. We're going to go back to the way I like to do it usually. I was trying to be a responsible member of the repair community and not do what I'm about to do. But since I don't want to be here forever, I'm going to do it the way I do it. Yeah, you bring out your solder sucker and you're going to lose this board. The other way you could do this is to put a stainless steel wire through it. Yeah, that's true. You know, hot tweezers could be useful for the wick, but the trouble is, I think what you would find is the same thing you found with when I was using the iron, and that is basically that it will take off the top bit, but that's the end of it. See how easy it is for me to clear the holes doing it this way? Much easier. It just, however, means I need more regulation on my That's true, yes, you could use the hot tweezers along with the hot air. That would actually be a combination that works. I concur. Of course, given how infrequently I do this job, or this type of job, I can't really justify it, and I don't want to. Hello, what's going on here? Looks like I did a dodgy on my wick cut. Right, let's try that again. Fairly sure those holes are actually through, they're just filled up with flux. Hey Gustavo, question about microcontroller units. Do you think it's worth learning and creating code base in AVRs, or should I go for ARMs? Really depends on the purpose of what you're trying to do. That's truly what matters. So what do you actually want to do with them? What purpose do you have in mind? And that will sort of guide you towards which one to go for. I mean, the AVRs are fantastic for so many things, small things. But yeah, you do moderately quickly hit the limit on them. Like I said, it really comes down to what you're doing. For all the things I've ever done, AVRs have covered me well and truly fine. Oh, I got one stuck in there. Arms are cheaper, but you need legs too. Mind you, creature, I mean, are there, like, I mean, I can get a tiny 212 for under $1. The other thing, of course, yeah, what's the smallest arm you can get, and what support, what sort of support glue does it require? $2 boards, 32-bit CPUs, yeah. But yeah, what supporting logic is required? How big is it? Because I mean, that's the other problem is, in most cases, ARMs seem to be comparatively large chips. They're even Arduino supported. Goddamn Arduino! It's just like a virus, a hideous, terrible virus. So yeah, what's the smallest ARM chip you can get? I mean, when you consider that the smallest AVR you can get is the SOT23/6 size. Mind you, I wonder if the DFN ones are smaller than that even. Let's call it smallest pin count, shall we? Yeah, smallest pin count. Hey, Tony Nash. The more I do this, the more I feel like I'm going to be changing this damn camera controller chip. It's a conspiracy, I tell you. I'm just not having much luck cutting my wick properly at the moment. I do wonder actually if a piece of something like, let me think, 30 gauge single strand copper, I wonder if that wouldn't be actually easier to do than this. Yeah, 30 gauge copper, that's typically what you get with wire wrap. Mind you, that stuff's actually bloody expensive these days. Like, it used to be wire wrap was cheap as, but now you gonna get some wire wrap? Yeah, sure, that'll cost you a fortune. Oh, what is wrong with you, Wick? Wick's pissing me off. Buffering, might be on your end if you're buffering. Hey Paul, how? Ah, jeez, Paul. Man, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sure you were too. The problem is I'm getting... Oh shit, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. No wonder I'm tired. Alright, that's why I'm starting to get a bit dodgy around here, because it's 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm tired as, and I'm cranky today, by the way. It's my cranky day. Come on, Wick. Yay. If you're wondering, I am indeed deliberately heating the wick and not the board. Miles, are you being facetious? I think you're being facetious. How dare you be facetious? Nobody gets to be facetious around here except me. Still sucks, Paul. Still sucks. So what are they... No, I suppose you're going to find out what the next course of action is going to be. It's almost never pleasant. Oh, the posties. Yeah. Greg knows all about that. Alright, I'm going to say we've got about a 88% chance of the camera chip being cactus. Ah, well. Sometimes you just have to accept your fate. It's like, well, I'm gonna have to do that camera chip. Come on, there's one up here that's not fully blown through, isn't there? Or did it... Oh, I think it must have automatically pulled itself back. Okay, that's cool, I can live with that. Yeah, Greg, I was just looking for that. I don't know whether it's this one here or not. No, it looks like it just pulled itself back, so that's good. You have a spare chip? Yeah, I've got a good number of those chips handy. Okay, that's the cactus one. For those wondering, cactus means dead, useless, busted, no good. Okay, probably a good idea if we clean this up a little bit because we are going to be sealing it in. Foobarred, yeah, that's another good term. I've got a lot of foobarred programming, that's for sure. I don't know why I'm even bothering trying to clean that fucks away, it's kind of pointless. Alright. Now the fun thing with this particular connector is that it actually doesn't go all the way through. Wait, what the? Wait, what? Oh, whoops. Yeah, wrong side. Good thing it's a polarized pin out. Otherwise, we would have been soldering that on the wrong side. That would have been so hilarious. Would have been apple grade. Yeah, so you can see the pins, they do not sit, they don't come all the way through to the other side. Bit of a nuisance. It means you can at times have incomplete connections, which is very annoying. Ow, damn it, broken toe. Someone needs some sleep? I concur. Yes, I certainly do. I'm just going to put another one in somewhere to lock it in. And then I can just put this back down on the board. See, if I started out on the ground like this, it would have probably sat a little bit skew. And that's looking pretty acceptable to me there. Yeah, that's the other thing. I've been coding like a madman lately. I really want to get this new version of Flexboard View out. Slam the doors on a few pirates, things like that. Especially when they, keep emailing me, telling me how insecure my software is. As if like it's, oh no, it's going to give away personal information. It's like, if it was a banking application or something like that, then yeah. you have every good reason to be letting me know there's a problem there, and I appreciate it. And I do appreciate what they're doing anyway. But, it's... The only thing that's going wrong here is that people can sneak in a free copy. But like I said, that really does play into my favour anyway. Because the more they get used to it, the more they want to keep using it, the more likely they are, potentially, to buy it when they finally can't keep pirating it. Yeah, it's good. It's good drug dealing business. I get a bit earlier and get up earlier. Catherine, yes, that actually would be the smart thing for me to do. It legitimately is. I'm not even mocking you or anything. That is actually the correct course of action for me. I know I've got some large balls there, but we can just ignore those for the moment. Tom George, I wish I could blame someone else. Unfortunately, I know it's all on me. Especially considering it's been going on for several years. Thank you, Greg. No, I actually prefer, Derek, I prefer to use, what do you call it? This solder for this sort of job. The biggest concern I would have with solder paste, and not that I can imagine how you could solder paste this, but would be that because it's a sealed can on the other side, you have no way of knowing if you've inadvertently developed a bridge or not. Whereas this method of feeding, at least you know it's not going to, be very unlikely to spill out on the other side and then bridge across to another leg. I mean, Catherine, everything you say does legitimately make sense. For some reason, I've always been problematically a night owl. I know the day that I finished school, I finished year 12, the very day I finished school, I didn't go out and party. Instead, what I did is I stayed up until about 3 in the morning writing a new program that I was thinking of. I know. That's very, very sad. Don't get me wrong, believe me, I did party as a kid. I partied a lot as a youngster. Probably too much, actually. But I certainly, when school was finished, because see, I wasn't 18 at that point, I was only like 17 and a half. I did have my motorbike at least. But yeah, so there was no like drinking, partying or anything like that. So I was more than happy to just sit home, finally be allowed to stay up to whatever time I want, finishing this program that I was thinking of, without thinking, oh, I've got to go to school tomorrow. Jim, sadly, I think I might have to agree with you on that. There's probably something not quite right with me. But then again, I'm more than happy to embrace that. Okay, time for testies. Testing, I mean. Yeah, testing. Okay, so we're going to watch the current meter, and hopefully it doesn't go kablam! Come on. Okay, so we've got 20 volts, 400, so that's booting. That side's working. We've got to do this 4 times. One for each side and each port. Okay. I could turn the board over, or I could just turn the cable over. And we're going to turn the cable over. Less energy required. Okay, that's good. And that's good. Okay, so all 4 ports are correctly negotiating and getting energy. So now we've got to put it in and boot from a boot stick and see if we actually still have a camera. Now, probably around about this time, it'd be a good idea for you to all put your bets in. That was loud. For you to all put your bets in as to whether the camera's going to work or not going to work. You love the wiggly bits behind the text now. It's actually over the top of it. I'm pretty sure I put it over the top of it, creature, but anyway, because it's only a 1 pixel wide, I guess it sort of can seem like, you know what, it's probably just a combination of the encoding and YouTube. What's going on here? Yeah, it doesn't want to go in the hole. Come on, man. That's the other problem with it being mounted onto the circuit board, is that if the alignment is slightly out, you have to sort of manipulate things around. Okay, see, it worked in there. There's a speaker that was holding it back. So what I'll do is I'll put the speaker on. I'll put the board in, and then when I'm happy with everything, the speaker will go in last. We don't need it in this particular instance anyway. No, we don't need it for the test. Remember the grommets. Well, the board's got to come out anyway. The grommets are safely in the container. Intentionally didn't bother with them. Because this has to go through a full ultrasonic clean. It's another project I've got coming up, is I have to build an ultrasonic sound dampening box. And I know that there's been a lot of those sort of sound dampening box videos and builds lately, but they're mostly for things like compressors and such. And the sound of a compressor is of a different sort of frequency to an ultrasonic. So I can't really use the same techniques that they might have used, in case you're all just about to start suggesting such things to me. What I'm genuinely thinking I might do is see if I can find a sufficiently large cooler box, like an esky as we call them, and then line the inside of the esky with something to help dampen the high frequencies and use that. Okay, I feel like I'm missing something. A brain. Okay, that's that. Okay. The option key. Put it in another room. Well, there's always that. Hello there, Michael Chun. How are you today? Okay, we don't seem to have anything coming up. That's distressing. Just like to make me panic. Unfortunately, I do not have another room at this point, so Miles, you can always go watch some old Rossman videos. He's always quite eager to share the sound of that ultrasonic screamer. Michael Chen, yeah, more sleep required, more money required. Always need more money. I was lamenting tonight to Elita that I'm really going to have to pull a genie out of my ass at some point, because we make enough money. Don't get me wrong, this is not me crying poor. We make enough money easily to cover our expenses, to keep paying off the mortgage in 3 years, that sort of stuff. Looking after the fur kids, no worries. But I'm talking about getting ahead of that, the general curve. And I suppose I was squawking a little bit because of the fact that I've been doing YouTube for a good number of years now, over 5 years. And I know that my numbers really haven't gone up how I wanted. And I know why. It's because my content is very... it needs to be edited. It's as simple as that. It needs to be edited. I go too much for these live streams, which are piss easy to do, but unfortunately they, for someone who doesn't know what's going on, or for someone who's been introduced to the channel, it's a boring way of an introduction. So I need to edit more. That's basically what it comes down to. Not enough cat videos. Well, I will tend to agree with that too. Okay, you're gonna give me a FaceTime? Yeah, here we go. Oh, holy shit, the camera actually works. Yeah. I'm as surprised as the rest of you. Alright, the camera works. Fantastic. I mean, I suppose the other option I could do is like run around, wear a skirt, and have a high squeaky voice and fall over everything. Sounds like a good idea. Okay, the next problem we have is that we don't seem to be charging yet. Oh yeah, we are actually 2.6. Yeah, we're charging. Thought you built a new bench report. I did. That was about 4 years ago. Have Lewis sponsor your channel. Lewis actually, in all seriousness, Lewis has done a tremendous amount for me. I could never... damn it, frickin' hair. Frick. When people joke about how you'll die from exposure, like when everyone says to you, you know what, we're going to pay you an exposure, we're going to get your name out there, we're going to let people know who you are, instead of paying you in cash for a job. Well, the work that I did sort of on behalf of Lewis, but not really, it was really more for the community, but Lewis promoted it, and that was one of the situations where the value of what he did far exceeded the value of what perhaps would have been paid in cash for anything. So I am exceedingly thankful for that. No matter what, I am very thankful that he actually went above and beyond to promote myself, my software, and everything else I do. I mean, even to this day, there is a link on their website that directs people to me for jobs. So I could never ask for anything more from Lewis. In fact, I really was disinclined to accept the contributions that were sent to me from or via Lewis from Futo or whatever it was originally, in order to be able to push out Open Board Data Project. I was more than happy to actually pay for that out of my pocket, because I felt like it was a project that was something that we needed in the community in order to be able to capture all the data values and things like that, and it contributed towards the sales, the incentive to buy my software. So, it was a win-win for me. But then Lewis was quite wanting to hand me a bit of money to sort of help push it along a little bit. And I was like, I, as a general rule, do not like taking money for these sort of things, because there aren't really strings attached, but it's more just there are expectations. I prefer to I don't know, maybe I'm allergic to expectations, who knows. No. All publicity is good publicity. Well, certainly out of Lewis it was very good publicity, and it was tremendous amount of it. Promote that bug pissing on the... Oh yeah, I mean, he's got that one on his... Yeah. Despite all the sarcasm, absolutely in spite of all the sarcasm. In fact, the sarcasm helped in many ways because people would sort of go, it would make people remember and question. They would sort of go, why are you using it if you don't like it, and things like that. And then, of course, it engages the brain a little more, and then people remember it better. We expected you to be allergic to expectations. Yes, I'm definitely very allergic to, that sort of thing. You never have heard of... Why did YouTube... There we go. Sorry, Eric, I don't know why YouTube did that. My opinion is if you want to be successful on YouTube, you need to put aside your preferences and tell people what they want to hear. That is very true, Ainsley. I do tend to agree with you on that. Yes. Money brings pressure. It does, yes. Even if it's handed... The only way it doesn't bring pressure is if someone whom you know is well off, very well off, hands you a fat wad of cash and says, this is just a Christmas gift or something like that. Under those circumstances, then cash truly is a fantastic gift. And like I said, I am not I'm not saying... This is going to come off sounding really bad. I hate doing this, but it's also why I don't take Patreon or anything like that, because it brings about a subconscious expectation that you are going to get something back from your money. I mean, you may contribute it in what you believe is an altruistic state of mind, but if you contribute enough, you eventually start developing an expectation state of mind in many cases, and that is what a lot of people are allergic to, because you don't really get to say no to it when it's contributed to you. Even if you did want, you sort of go, it turns up, you got to say thank you, and I've got no problem saying thank you, and I do say thank you. But sometimes there have been incidences where there is a gap between what I reciprocate versus what is contributed, and I apologize for that to some people. In other cases, it's just like, I'm sorry, it's just the way it is. Hey, Harold's here. See, now Harold here is a good example. Harold has contributed quite a number of things, and he's done so in a way that I do not feel needlessly obligated. By the way, we're charging. Like, you look at the chipmunks that he's given, and all the other little bits and pieces. Now, not everything that he's sent over has been something I've found a use for, and in those scenarios I actually would like to hand it off to someone else who might find a better use for it, either because I'm stubborn or I just don't get the time to learn how to use something. But I hope that with Harold having taken the chance to send me this equipment that he has, like the chipmunks and the GPU mod chips and things like that, that I've been able to showcase what he's offering and show people that it's value for money if they go and buy it. But it doesn't always work out that way. Maybe it's 1 out of 2 or 3 products or something that it works well with. I do what I can, and hopefully Harold still feels like he gets some sort of value for money in what he contributes. Because, postage costs a hell of a lot international. The equipment he sends is expensive, even for him, on a bill of materials sort of thing. And he sends, he listens to the revisions or suggestions, and he makes revisions, he sends new ones over. So, I can't really ask for anything better there. So, thank you very much as well, Harold, for all the things you've done. And hopefully, I would say the chipmunk is probably one of the most known items that I try to promote of yours. So, let's see. On YouTube, you're an acquired taste. Not necessarily technical content, but just what I say. Yeah, maybe I should just swear more. It seems to work for some New Yorkers. Flexboard View does not apply for money. No, Flexboard View cannot. It is a commercial product, and it's not open source. But I think that Open Board View could, and I wish it would. And Open Board Data can, but I don't. Like I said, there was the contribution to get things kick-started. Lewis just wanted to get in with it, and hopefully I've managed to make at least a reasonable amount of hopefully I gave him some sort of value for money. Pardon me. I mean, we're up at about 34,000 data samples now, and the component side of things is building up as well. We've got over 10,000 component entries. So, it is snowballing now, which is fantastic. So hopefully for the money that was contributed, he feels like there's some value for that. I guess we'll find out when I have the interview with him sooner or later. But Flexboard View cannot be involved in it, and I don't want it to be involved with it, to be honest. I prefer that my commercial projects remain strictly commercial. If someone wants to invest, then that's up to them, but I don't recommend doing that. The best way to invest in any commercial product I produce is to actually purchase it. That's as simple as I can make it. But Open Board View, it should be applicable for this sort of for photo grants. The trouble is someone then has to actually do the work, and I know Pelnov, who heads it up mostly these days, he just doesn't have the time or the inclination, even with money, because money doesn't make people do anything in most cases, not with small amounts. Like even 10,000, 20,000, it isn't enough to compel people to do what many people want done for that sort of money. But like with Open Board View, we could really do with someone writing a module that will at the very least read the open board data pages so that it can be overlaid onto the boards that you look at in Open Board View. I can't really do it. I don't really want to do it because things have changed a lot. I mean, I think I forked off from Open Board View around about 4.5 years ago, nearly 5 years ago now. So the internals of the software are very different, and if I go in and try to do the open board data overlay, I'm probably going to be like a bull in a china shop. It's not going to go down well. There's going to be undesirable animosity, and it's just not going to work well. So we need someone else to do it. And Pelnov would have been the ideal person, purely for the fact that he has sufficient experience with the entire Open Board View code base. Someone else might be able to come up and do it. Anyway, it's 20 past 1. I gotta go. This is how I don't get sleep, because I get carried away and keep talking when I shouldn't. This machine's working, thank God. I'm very glad we didn't have to change that damn camera chip, because it's a pain more than anything else. The underfill and all that. The chip is not a problem to source. The chip is the same one on the 165 boards. It's on many different boards, so you don't have to get it from another 1708. So this is fixed. I'm happy. Time for me to kick off. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you all next time. Till then, you'll take care. I'll catch you later.